Good morning. I'm doing something a little unusual today and bringing you down to the basement. I wanted to show you a little MacGyver setup that I've got going on down here. I hope the lighting's okay. But this basement gets cold during the winter time. Not unlivably cold, but definitely too cold to start some kinds of plants. At night, sometimes it'll drop into the 50s down here. And in the daytime, usually it's someplace between 60 and 65 degrees, which is not the optimal temperature for starting certain kinds of seeds. Great if you've got cabbages or spinaches or things like that, but if you're trying to start tomatoes and eggplant and peppers and husk cherries or ground cherries, not ideal at all. So in the past, I've just sweated it out and hoped that if I planted them early enough, they would grow before spring and I'd be able to have something to plant on. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Last year it was a disaster with the ground cherries, and I ended up having to get some plants from friends. I was about to buy them and somebody offered up a couple of them, and I took advantage of that, and it was great. Anyway, so getting these things started is a challenge. Even tomatoes take a little longer than they probably should down here. They like to start in warm soil too. So this year, I went shopping online and looked to see what I could find for heat mats, and the prices were crazy. And I thought, what is it that there's usually a combination of things you get with the heat mat. You get the mat, but then you also need to either buy it with or have a separate temperature probe that you push into the soil to make sure that the soil is the temperature that you want. So I went looking at these things, and we're looking at between $40 and $90 for a good setup to get me started with that, which of course got me thinking, what could I do that was cheaper than that to get myself started with a heat mat? And I don't need a huge space because I don't start too many things that need this kind of extra care. But I do want my ground cherries, I do want my peppers and my eggplants to all do well. I know I can do tomatoes down here. The other ones, a little bit of a challenge. So anyway, what did I do? I started thinking about light bulbs and the heat produced by an old school incandescent light bulb. And thought, what if I were to hook one of these up to a temperature probe? So I still had to buy the temperature probe, which was under 20 bucks. I was willing to do that just to make sure that I had the right temperature for my situation. And so I bought a Vivosun probe, which you can see right here. And right now you can see it's reading 79.5 degrees. And I set it at 80 degrees. And the probe goes up and into the soil right in the middle here. I've measured it, and on the outside it's about 5 degrees cooler than on the inside. So it's the temperature is trying to stay between 75 and 80 degrees. And what this does, so the way this works is my light bulb, which is in this box, the box underneath the seeds, is fixed to the bottom of the box. I'm not going to try and explain how to do this because this definitely falls into the don't do this at home category unless you really know what you're doing. But what I did was I put a light bulb, and I'll show you in just a second. I put a light bulb into the box, fixed it to the bottom of the box, and then inside the box I wrapped aluminum foil to reflect the heat and the light. And on the top of the box, I just have a thin layer of aluminum foil. For a while, I had a tray. Well, I don't need to show you that. A cookie tray, a cookie baking sheet, and that was sitting on top, and that was transferring heat up. But I wanted to actually modify the heat a little bit more and not give it quite so much direct heat right in the middle. So I decided that using this. It's hard to show you, but the tray underneath this it's a plastic tray with sort of cross hatching of plastic. So it gives just a little bit of separation between the aluminum foil, which transfers heat and sort of spreads it out, and the actual seed starting trays themselves. So I keep this on. This keeps some of the moisture in, but honestly, right now, I'm trying to not get any mold here, so I've taken to actually spraying this down every day. I keep a sprayer right here, and I just, give it every morning or afternoon. I just give it some shots of water. I don't know if you can see, but it's just a little bit dry last night. Just a little bit dry right now, but I'll spray it down after this video, and it'll be good for the rest of the day. I could put a solid, plastic bin right over top of this whole thing, which I have done. I did earlier, and I might do again. That helps to keep the moisture in too. But I'm trying to strike that balance between giving it enough moisture and not giving it too much moisture, because I just don't want to turn it into a mold fest here. So anyways, working great. I'm going to show you, I've actually got a couple of the tomatoes started. I'm going to take a picture afterwards, and I'll show it to you in front of my face. I've got a couple of the tomatoes started. One of my Amish paste tomatoes started, and one of my green zebra tomatoes started. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it looks like I've got a little bit of action going on in the Brandywine, the Lucky Cross, maybe even in the Aussie. So we're doing well with that stuff. Right now, the ground cherries, I can't really see anything going on in there yet, but I expect those to pop up in a little bit. I actually have them toward the center where they're getting a little bit more heat than the rest, because I know that that's what they need there. So if I were to take this off, all right, actually, you can see what this is. This is a light bulb in a box. This is a 30-watt light bulb. So they still sell 30-watt incandescent light bulbs at my Home Depot. I know they don't sell incandescent light bulbs as much anymore. And overall, I think that's a great thing. But when you need something for a project like this, it's nice to be able to find one. Because I know Paul Wheaton has actually talked a lot about this. He goes on crazy rants about how he loves the incandescent light bulb for heating purposes. And in this situation, I would say it would have been a shame if we couldn't find one. But anyway, I found a 30-watt light bulb. I had an old light fixture that I just took apart and put in there. Now the 30-watt light bulb is screwed into it, and it turns on and off whenever I need it to, automatically. The light here is the light panel that I've talked about, which is an LED panel. This thing burns about somewhere in the range of 150 watts. It is, I think, 800 watt equivalent, and it gives plenty of light for something like this. In fact, it might even be too close. I might have to pull it back. And that's one of the great things about these LED panels. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but it's a great thing about one of these LED panels is you don't have to keep it, in fact, you can't keep it pressed right up against your lights. This is a daylight color of the light, and it does a great job for me. I don't have any complaints. I don't buy fancy purple seed starting light bulbs, and I don't know, I don't feel like I need it, and I've been doing it like this for a couple of years. Absolutely happy with it. It doesn't I think you're probably familiar with the fluorescent bulbs that last for a year or two, and then the quality just goes, and if you take a light meter and put it under them, you're getting nothing. This one, consistent year after year. This is, I think, the third year that I've used it. Still puts out great light. And anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little unconventional to be down in my basement, but I might do a few more like this because I've got a few more things that I want to talk about that kind of take place down here every year. And so I wanted to just give you a little glimpse of what it looks like. I'll show you one more thing, and that is another DIY project that I did this spring, which was I found these racks out in back of I guess a Target or some other superstore, and they were throwing them away. They didn't need them anymore. And quite often in back of stores like that, you'll find racks from displays. And so the whole display didn't exist, but the racks still did. And so what I did was I took these racks and I mounted them. They had little cutouts where you could mount them on screws. And so now I just put up these 2x3s. I've got this box here. I've got these racks mounted in that box. And I'm starting to mount my old fluorescent 4-foot fixtures in here after retrofitting those to take LED bulbs. So anyway, a lot of MacGyvering going on down in this basement here, but this is what my setup looks like right now, and hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit more with this for you in some of the future upcoming episodes. But thank you. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Give me any comments. Tell me what kind of MacGyvering techniques you are using in your growing situation this year. All right. Thanks a lot and have a great day.